need to shave. That's not even funny.
Yeah. Starting to get that neck beard in.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable looking.
Yeah. Feel
I'm
that.
starting to look like a homeless dude.
Yeah. So that's why I always feel like whenever I just try and grow a beard, it's like, man, I just look like shit, and I just go, I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't wanna.
See, I have to have a beard because if I don't have a beard, I have a fucking baby face.
I mean,
I just
everyone
need
does
to
though.
I mean, yeah.
Like that's
It's
the thing.
especially bad with me.
Yeah, I get some people's like face is a little bit worse than others, but it's like, man, I don't know. I just go, everyone has a baby face technically.
Okay, let me do this. Next time we have D&D, I will come completely clean.
I mean, I've seen you.
Shaven.
I've seen you completely shaved, and you're right. But at the same time, it's like everyone does.
It's so much worse for me, though. I swear.
I was like, you and Billy both tell me the same thing. It's like if I shave, I just have baby face and whatever. It's like the Billy always just. I feel like he's like, I look like I'm 20 years younger, like without the beard. And I'm like, yeah, because beards are supposed to make you look older. It's what always happens. I had like a little bit of scruff that I had at like all times in high school, and everyone thought every person, whenever I would go to like a store or something like that, every person was like, "Are you like a senior in college or something like that?" I'm like, "Nope, I'm just a junior in high school." It's really funny when it's the other way around too. It's like. It's like now it's like, man, you look like you're like maybe like 23, like in the prime of your life, and I'm like, bro, I'm almost 30. It's just really funny when it's the opposite flip. It's like I've heard both sides of it. It's like when I was in high school, everyone thought I was a lot older, and then when I was now when I am like super clean shaven or something like that, everyone's like, man, you look like you're like straight out of high school. And I'm just like,
I mean, they're not wrong, but
just nope.
The beard does a lot more than most people give it credit for.
I mean, that's why a lot of guys grow beards in college, so that way they can maybe sneak into bars before they're 21.
Boy, I was able to sneak into bars when I was like a freshman in high school.
That's true. Depends on where it was. Sometimes they don't give a shit and they'll just let anyone in. Or if like it's like, oh, you have a fake ID. Close enough, man.
When I was a freshman in college, I looked legit so old that the dudes over at GameStop stopped asking for my ID whenever I asked for a mature rated game. I was very proud when I was able to do that.
I feel like that is like a milestone in life when you don't have to. When all of a sudden it's just like no one questions how if you're old enough, you just are that old, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Just it always just feels like that's an accomplishment in life. It's like, I'm old. Yeah.
And then sooner or later you're just like, oh, I'm old.
Yeah, then your knees start hurting, you can't really sleep. You wake up in the morning and your back hurts and you're like, ah, fuck, I'm fucking old now. It stinks.
Man, are we gonna go back to the old trend with our last podcast?
No, let's not do that.
Being old every episode.
No, please, let's not do that.
It's back like in my day, we had the GameCube and Nintendo 64.
It's like my body's definitely feeling my age, if not a little bit more. But I was like, my brain still is like, I like Pokemon cards. I am 5 years old still.
Bro, I almost bought a 3DS this morning. Don't even talk to me about doing dumb shit like that.
Yep, Roonies. So, I guess I should do an intro, shouldn't I? I always forget that part. Hello and welcome to. I almost said That's Just Gamer Talk. It is not That's Just Gamer Talk. It is. It Never Ends instead. So it's gonna be. It's gonna take some getting used to in my brain because I was always so used to just turning off my brain and just saying that, but now I have to think about it for a second. So but yeah, I'm Andrew. Over there is my good buddy Alex. How you doing today?
Pretty good. Feeling old now.
I mean, everyone. That's always how it goes.
I didn't feel old before I came here.
It's like this every time though. I swear to God, it's just like we start out, we're like in high spirits and like I remember this, and you're like, oh, that was like 10 years ago. So
I think somebody told me like, isn't the first Sonic the Hedgehog movie over 5 years old now?
is it really?
Oh no, 2020. Only three
Well,
years.
it's only
Okay,
3 years.
yeah. It was something that I thought was like, oh, that's like a recent cartoon or like a recent movie or whatever, and it's like, oh, that came out like 10 years ago now.
The thing is I feel
Like, the
like
first Deadpool movie is over 10 years old now. 12 years, right at this point.
oh, I also feel like the COVID time, like that, like the pandemic time was like
Hmm.
it felt like an eternity in a way. Like there was days where that just felt like they just never ended. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just like now we're kind of back to normal-ish in a way. So it's just like, oh, time's flying again. Always happens. I'll never explain why or how or that is. Just, I mean, I look at my life during that time, during like the COVID time. I'm like, it
Hmm.
didn't really change a whole lot, mainly because I'm basically just like the quote unquote basement child. That if I could, I would basically live in my basement and play video games all day long.
That's a
If
lot of people these days, though.
I know, but
People
it's
look at,
like, but
people
it's
to
like
look
sometimes
at,
it's worse.
people look to do that as a career nowadays. Like, seriously.
I was like, but that's like that. It's socializing, but like
It
on
is, yeah.
the internet, it's a
Hmm.
different type of thing. It's like I always say streaming and like is like streaming and making YouTube videos is probably is a blessing and a curse at the same time because in at some point it got gamers to actually socialize that
Yeah.
isn't and then but at the same time it's like now everyone does it and everyone just tries to take advantage of it and all this stuff. Like, I don't know, it's a weird thing, but I honestly think that's the case.
Do you remember Green Lantern? I remember Green Lantern.
I never watched that.
I watched it several times because when it first came out, I actually really liked it.
Did you really?
The thing is, I was just so my buddy was a big comic books guy, and that's the point where I
Mm.
actually like started to sit down and read comic books, like the Red Lantern comics and like all the old Green Lantern stuff. So I was like, oh, cool, he's finally getting a movie, and I think I just convinced myself that it's good because it's like, oh,
You
it's
were
a
in
superhero that's
denial.
not like Superman or Batman. And then looking back at it now, it's like looking like if I watched that movie today, I guarantee I would turn it off after the first 30 minutes. It is so bad.
Damn, you last 30 minutes? People tell me they can't last 5.
Okay. It's not well, yeah.
I think that timer just went from like a half hour to maybe 15 minutes to now maybe
Mhm.
10 minutes. So,
Man, I'd consider rewatching it if it wasn't 2 hours long. If it was like an hour and 15 minutes, sure.
yeah, I feel that.
Ah,
Yeah, I was like, I only started reading comics because my uncle got all like the Spider-Man comics when he was, I don't know, when I was still like younger or whatever, and he would just like he would get this all like the Spider-Man comics, and then he'd read them, and then he'd give them to me, and then I'd read them, and then I'd give it back to him. So I was just like that. That's why I was like, if I've never really been a big comic book guy, but it was like I read a good chunk of Spider-Man comics after a
yeah.
while. It was like he bought a bunch of other ones, but they were the only ones I cared about.
I've actually never read any of the Spider-Man stuff.
They're good. I like them a
Nice.
lot. I have no idea what they are like today, but like 15 years ago, they were great. Something like that. I don't know. I was probably like 14, 15.
Nice. That's the prime age to get into comic books.
Exactly. It's like I was like, I'm just like, oh hell yeah, the new Spider-Man issue, Spider-Man. But like, classic like high school kid. It's like, and I wasn't working like at all, so I was like, I didn't have money,
Mhm.
but I was like, but my uncle buys them, and I can just get it off of him. So
Bro, I remember being a kid and going like to the comic shop regularly to buy the new comic books, like right when they came out. It's like, oh man, I just got done working my off the books job for like $1.50 an hour. Can't wait to go to the comic shop to buy one for $6.
dude, that was me, but not for the comic books. It was for the
Mhm.
Pokemon cards.
For Pokemon
Hell
cards?
yeah, I was a big
So
collector at the
did you
time.
Okay, you were a collector. I was gonna ask, did you play the game or just
Hell
collect
no.
the cards?
Did anyone ever know how to play the Pokemon card game? Like, honestly.
I swear the people that buy Pokemon cards today don't know how to play the Pokemon card
It's
game.
true, and this works out really well considering that was one thing I wanted to talk about is the fucking fanaticism that is Pokemon cards in recent years.
Dude, I recently bought a Pokemon card. I
You
bought it
did.
because it had a surfing Pikachu on it. It was mind-boggling to me when you guys were like, "Oh, this is actually a really good card." I was just like, "Oh, I thought it was just a funny fat Pikachu going surfing."
I mean, it's a promo
Okay.
card and it's not very good actually, but it's a promo card
Okay.
that was like that was easily obtainable. It was like the surfing
Mhm.
what was it? The surfing Pikachu from the 25th anniversary set or something like that. Something like that. Because I remember it had like the little like Pikachu little sticker in the corner with like the 2-5 on the side, and I think that was the 25th.
But Pokemon card collecting has always been such a weird thing to me because you look at Yu-Gi-Oh and like all of the expensive stuff is like the cards that are good is what costs the most money.
Well, that and
If
the
you go
Starlight rares now, but yeah, I get
Mhm.
what you mean.
And same thing with Magic cards. If you like the really good like Magic the Gathering cards, even like the full arts and like the a lot of the showcase cards that the ones are the ones that you can't use in tournaments, so they're a lot cheaper. And it's like
Great for
with
casual
Pokemon
play.
cards, yeah. Uh, and with Pokemon, it seems to be the opposite, where a lot of the really good carbs are actually carbs are
Carbs. Yeah.
are actually pretty cheap. It's like
Yeah,
I bought the deck that won a tournament in like 2021 or whatever. It cost like $25 for the full thing. It's like people buy these for how they look, not for how good they are, which is
exactly.
strange to me.
Like similar to what you're saying, it's like I was like I love Typhlosion. I think he's like my favorite Pokemon basically of all time.
Mhm. Yeah.
And so I was like, I wanted to get a Typhlosion deck, so I bought a Typhlosion deck. Do you know what it cost me?
How much did it cost you?
$12. $12 to buy a whole deck, and I was like, cool. Okay. I don't know. It's just like Pokemon cards are so weird, and it's like so recently, like Pokemon had this crossover with this like Van Gogh shit or whatever. They had
Mhm.
like a museum for it,
Yeah.
and Nintendo or whoever makes the decisions on where these cards are sold had like these limited edition like Pikachu cards that were only available within the store in Amsterdam.
Mhm.
And lo and behold, the first day that they put them out there, they sell out, and people weren't even going to the museum to actually see the museum where it was just like Pokemon inspired Van Gogh like things
Yeah.
or
They were
whatever.
just going to
They
get
were
the
just
special
going
edition
to get the
cards.
card, and it wasn't just like, oh, it's just like people who were Pokemon fanatics. No, they're mostly scalpers that are trying to resell the cards online.
Of course.
So, and it's like it's just like it's crazy to me. It's like that, like even was it, I think it was Nintendo said that like, oh yeah, we felt we had enough stock in there for at least three months or something like that to last until
Mhm.
January. Sold out in 3 minutes.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's just like I just don't get it. It's like they recently put out like this like I think it's like Pokemon 151 set or something like that is what it's called, where it's
Mhm.
the original 151 Pokemon but like with new arts and abilities and stuff like that. And it's like you can't find that anywhere without it being like really jacked up in price. Yeah, it's like Scarlet and Violet
Jeez.
151. It's like what? How much is like? Yeah, you can't even find a box on TCG Player, and usually I can find at least a box on TCG Player. Just makes no goddamn sense to me. Oh hey, look! Would you look at that? What's the most expensive card in the thing? A Charizard.
It's the it was made to look like the original like shiny Charizard that's like super expensive and was from the original like Pokemon card sets.
Mm-hmm. Just don't get
I
it.
don't get it.
I
I
just
like how we say we don't get it the moment that at the exact same time. Oh my god. So that Van Gogh like Pikachu promo,
mm-hmm.
just that one card, $65 on eBay.
Yep. I think when they were selling it in the store, it was like I think $10 or something like that.
My God.
So it's crazy, and it's like you were saying, it's like no other like mainline like card game it is that basically. Like
Yeah.
there's nothing. There's like Magic the Gathering puts out secret layer drops all the time, but
Hmm.
like it's like they might not be like the major ones, like the Universe Beyond ones, but they are desirable. Like I think the Lord of the Rings was
I mean,
definitely very desirable for a lot of people for that were Lord of the Rings fans. I know people who aren't Magic the Gathering fans that bought a box of like the Lord of the Rings set just because they love Lord of the Rings.
yeah.
So, but you never saw that, and it was like, oh, maybe it's like, well, that's because you just couldn't buy like an alternate art One Ring, and I'm like, it's probably a good thing. Could you imagine if like they had just made like you could just buy the one like the One Ring like just straight up, and it's like, oh, but they had it in like the bundle sets, and I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't the version that everyone wanted.
Yeah. Everyone wanted the One Ring. The search for that one.
That the One Ring. Yep.
Didn't what's his name? That big streamer buy it?
Yeah. Yeah, some dude opened it and then he bought it from
Um,
the guy from DJ Collins bought it from that guy.
DJ who?
Calland or whatever. Colland?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
I
don't
thought
know.
XQC bought it for a second.
No, no, no. It was
Okay.
it's like I guess it's I was just like, oh, at least it's in somebody that's actually like appreciates like I guess nerd culture.
Hmm.
And didn't just buy it just because it's like, oh, this is like the most expensive Magic card now. I don't know.
Well, it probably is more expensive than like a graded Black Lotus. Or would it be?
I mean, do like tens of Black Lotus still exist? Like, I feel like if I don't know,
I mean, it's a one of one, so it probably is more expensive, but
because didn't he buy it for like $3 million or something like that?
something crazy like that.
Yeah, I think he bought it for like 3 mil. That is wild to me.
Yeah. So Mint 8 Black Lotus is about $140,000. So it's still expensive, just not as expensive. I guess
Yeah.
because there's just more of them out there, but
I mean, there's that, and it's kind of just like Black Lotus really isn't actually like as broken as people think it is. I guess it was the first card that was like
Mm.
that broke the Magic the Gathering meta, basically.
yeah.
Like everyone ran it. If you didn't run it, you weren't doing it competitively. It's the card. It's the same thing with like the original like Power 9 cards. It's like they're not actually that good of cards considering where Magic is today,
Hmm.
but because where they are now, it is that crazy. I don't know. It's just like there are just so limited things. It's like if they ever decided to actually reprint Black Lotus and put it into like I don't know, like standard sets, it's like I couldn't imagine that, but it's just like
No.
I really don't like I don't know. It's like Matt or what was it? Commander has one basically. It's like the Jewel Lotus, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. You like tap it and sacrifice it, and you can cast your commander. Use it you for like 3 mana, 1 color, and for only use it on commanders to like pay for them. So
Mhm.
not like it isn't being used today. Pokemon cards are just so weird, and it's like I get wanting to collect like your I don't know, you passed or whatever, or like you see it all the time of people getting like super nostalgic, but it's like not even like
Let me. My biggest question for people like that is: so you collect Pokemon cards, you spend what, like tens of thousands of dollars on these things, and then do what with them? Do you frame them and hang them up in your house, or do you just stick them in a drawer somewhere, never to look at them again? It's
I
like,
mean
what's even the point?
I assume it's the similar case of like anyone that actually collects like baseball cards still. I honestly have no idea who those people are anymore, but it's like
Aren't you one of those people?
I mean, it was for like a short time. It was kind of just like it's like I bought a few boxes of it and I haven't done any since or whatever. It's like I like baseball cards or whatever. It's like but like I don't care if one comes that's like super expensive or whatever. If I got like a one of one of like a Shohei Ohtani or a Mike Trout or something like that, I
Mhm.
mean, I'll take a picture with it and then I'm gonna sell it because it's gonna be worth a fuckload of money. Like honestly, like a one of one like Shohei Ohtani,
Mhm.
uh, um, would probably sell for a lot.
I mean,
Those cards are going to be insanely expensive because he's by far like the face of like baseball now.
oh,
I pretty much it's like I remember like even the box that he that like I was like looking at like old baseball cards wanting to potentially like and just see it's like oh yeah a rookie card like just a base rookie card still sells for a lot. I see listings for like $175 for like for like one of his like rookie cards.
mhm.
And it's just like, and if you got like a one of one of that, and I go, you're talking a lot of money at that point.
Shit.
Yep, you absolutely would be. But either way, it's like, I mean, you get it, and that's the thing with like baseball cards nowadays. It's like it's all about like the parallels or whatever. At this point, it's
Mhm.
like there's not like you just open like a. It's like there are some cool things that they've done with certain cards like that. Like oh they have it where it's like you can get like an autograph card of theirs like and it's one that's either actually signed or it's the bullshit signed one
Mhm.
is what I like to call it because it's just like taped on like they like had them sign it and they basically just do like this like tape job where it basically just transfers it to the card rather than having him sign it like 100 times. So
Well, I can imagine that they don't want to sign a card 100 times.
yeah, nor do they have the
But
time to. So they just
yeah,
have them sign it once, and then they do like this little like tape thing where it's like, and I don't know the exact process, but they basically just have it like they tape
where
it,
they just
they pick it
yeah.
up, and then they put it down, and then they can do that but like 100 times. So it's like the cards that are actually signed by the players are a lot worth a lot more, and especially like sometimes what you see, it's like I think it's Bowman does. Yeah, Bowman's the one that does like the prospects. So like they actually go through like the farm systems of like every team in baseball basically and looks for players that have like promise or could potentially like usually like they're like high draft picks or something like that that they think might
Mhm.
actually be good. And the whole point is that if you get one, you hold on to it for a while and then say, okay, well, did this player amount to anything or whatever during their career? Like, did they become a Hall of Famer? Or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, they did. Okay, cool. Then it's probably actually worth something. Unless it's like a player you actually care about or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
as like a baseball like a Brewers fan or whatever. It's like the big call up that the Brewers are going to be looking at for the next couple of years is like one of baseball's top prospects in Jackson Chirino. So I'm excited for that, but I'm not going to go out and get it. I just don't know who those people are that still buy baseball cards. I mean, I see the same thing about Pokemon cards, but everyone fucking collects Pokemon cards,
I
apparently.
mean, true, yeah.
I do wonder as well, though. It's like how many of these people actually like care about the cards or resell them afterwards. I don't know.
For a lot of people that I know of, they mainly just buy the cards for the cards and just keep them.
Yeah,
And I have no clue why. It's for a lot of
collectors,
people.
man.
I know a lot of people will buy these cards just to be like, oh, I'm selling that for X amount of $100 and you know making a profit off that. But for a lot of people, like a lot of YouTubers that I know, like I I don't watch Austin Evans so much anymore, but he's diverted a scary amount of company resources to buying these bullshit Pokemon cards.
It's like I like collecting cards as much as the next guy. Like I Like we're both Magic players but we actually like play with the cards. Like we have fun with them.
That's the thing. We buy the cards to use them. It's like if I were to buy a copy of Mana Drain, yeah, I'm spending a fuck ton of money on it, but I'd actually use it and play. With a lot of these Pokemon decks, it seems like if you look for the good cards that work really well in like a standard match of Pokemon, they're just not that expensive at all.
Yeah.
They'll go for like maybe $2-3 on TCG Player. Whereas like you go back to like again the big fat gay Pikachu.
God, yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking on eBay right now. It's about $200 is the cheapest one I can find. If you don't want like a metal card or whatever. Let's see how much it is on TCG Player now I think about it.
If you want it near mint, it's near $195.
Is it any good even?
No. It's just so you can say you have big fat gay Pikachu.
I mean, I want to be able to say I have big fat gay Pikachu. I'm not going to spend $100 to do that though.
I know what you mean.
Like, holy fuck.
Yeah. It's just something else. And it's like I somewhat feel like it's because of like, it's weird to say this because but it's like I do think like sites like TCG Player and like other ones, like they have like buyer's guide to Pokemon cards or whatever, but it's like it's always a gamble, right? Like you buy a box, you're not guaranteed to make anything back. And sometimes I wonder if people realize that, like they see they see guys on YouTube or whatever that like open like, oh whoa, we got big fat gay Pikachu, whoa, we like that's like $100, we made our money back.
With a lot of people, I'm willing to bet that's what they did. Especially, I think it was during COVID that there was a big boom in like Pokemon sales where everyone was buying boxes because it's like, oh, there's a big Pokemon collecting boom right now. We're just gonna buy a bunch of boxes of Pokemon cards, sell them all off, and become rich. It's like, no, that's not how that works. You might buy a box for like $300 and get absolutely fucking nothing from it.
I was like, I buy I buy almost a box for every set that comes out in Magic, just because there's usually a card in every set, or at least a few cards in every set that I like, and I either want or I think I could use in my current decks. Or whatever, and that's why I do it, and then I sell back whatever is worth something, but it's actually worth something, and I don't sell it for an absolute profit.
Yeah,
it's like and it's like I sell it right through TCG Player. It's not that it's like totally legit and everything. It's like not that it's not like anything crazy. It's like I just don't get it. Like you see all the people on like eBay or whatever, and it's like, granted, eBay I know bought TCG Player, and I was like scared of that fact because I was just sitting here going just like, oh no, like now this is where they're gonna like eBay is gonna just fuse TCG Player with eBay, and I was like, oh geez.
I'm really glad that hasn't happened yet.
Same, bro.
Keyword yet.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
I think they'll ever add like a card bidding feature, or are they just gonna keep being good old TCG Player?
I mean, I would hope that they're just gonna be good old TCG Player, but knowing eBay, they're gonna want something.
Oh, I found my new favorite card from Wilds of Eldraine.
Yeah,
cheeky house mouse, bro. He has an ability called Squeak By.
There you go.
I might actually need to buy a box of this set. Like,
Wilds of Eldraine is fun. I bought like a couple boxes of them, and mainly because I was like looking for. I do want to make like the adventure commander. I actually make a deck for that. It's pretty cheap. So I was just like, but if I can open a few of them, it's like there's that, and I also wanted the what is it, like I think there was like the blossoming tortoise, I think is what it's called. Like the land ones, because I was like, oh, land decks, that'd be fun.
Just
Like, I
as
don't
long
already
as
have
it's
that.
not a land destruction deck.
It's not land destruction. Don't worry about
Okay.
it. It's just where you
Don't.
animate lands into 3/3 elementals.
Okay. Don't scare me like that.
I wasn't. Real fast though,
Yeah.
since we're on it, did you see what or Wizards said that they're doing with the packs? By the way,
No.
so currently Wizards has like 3 different types of packs. They
Mhm.
have the
Oh
draft
yeah, they're going to mix like the draft and the whatever packs into something called battle packs.
play packs, yeah, but
Play packs, yeah.
it's like so there's 3 packs currently. There's the draft pack, which is used for drafting, the set packs that are just used for collectors, so like they're easily like they get all the collectible cards in them or
Mhm.
whatever. Like sometimes you got a small alternate arts or whatever type things. You have more chances for more rares, and it's like that's the set you're gonna want to purchase if you're just wanting out to collect the cards. They're not draftable, like they don't fit within the draft format type thing. And then there's the collector boosters, which have like the alternate arts, and that's where you get like all like the crazy weird alternate arts or whatever for them.
Mhm.
But Wizards just announced the other day that they are getting rid of those. They're getting rid of both the set and the draft and combining them into the play pack. Is I think it's what they're calling them. And it's basically like it is still draftable, but will also have more chance for more rares, which just means that sometimes. And I don't know how I feel about that because I feel like
Mhm.
I get that drafting may be a thing that's kind of going away, but I still feel like there's a good amount of people that draft.
Yeah. Enough to justify the draft packs anyway.
I don't know. I was looking on this. I was looking on the Magic subreddit earlier today, and they were talking, and they had like there was a couple people in the comments that like said they own local game stores or whatever,
Mhm.
and they talked about like what are like the sales, what are like the draft nights like around them, and for some it was like they still get a good amount of draft people that like drafting, like especially like the new sets every so often, especially if the like it's a fairly new set, like if it's still like early
Mhm.
on in its cycle as opposed to like later on. But it's like then there's somewhere just like yeah, I barely have enough people for a draft, and it's just like then no, and then like the thing is like after the set is gone, after they move on to the next set,
Mhm.
nobody wants the draft packs anymore
Yeah.
because it's not the
Which
new set anymore, so they'll just end up burning a hole in the like on their store.
which kind of makes sense.
I think that's I think they're not it's not wrong. I think it's probably a
Mhm.
play for local game stores in general, just to combine the two of them together.
Mhm.
I still am unsure of how that will affect, because I feel like part of the reason why people like drafting, especially Magic, is because it's everyone's kind of on that same playing field where you're not going to just have a guy, you're not going to be playing against a guy with like 50 rares in his deck
Mhm.
or something like that. You're only going to be playing against the guys that like it's like, oh, maybe they got 1 or 2 rares, and then they have to using commons and uncommons to round out their deck.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
so drafts I think depend a lot on whether or not you have a like dedicated play group that want to draft these days, because it's like from what I hear, like just trying to play games of Magic with like random strangers in game shops nowadays is an absolutely miserable experience. Just everyone that I've talked to that's have done it
It
in the past couple of years,
it,
all I
it
hear is that
definitely
a lot of those guys are like jaded assholes. I'm
it
not trying to shit on
no,
anybody
no, no,
for it,
no.
but
It definitely depends on like people that go to the game store. I feel
mhm.
like that's the number one thing. But I can also understand as somebody who is an introvert, it's like going to a place to wanting to play a game and not really knowing, how hard everyone's going or whatever, and finding that correct like level. It's like some people really want to play competitive, but other people just
Mhm.
want to play casual, and then someone that plays competitive just steps on a casual, then you kind of feel like you're the villain of the group, and or all
Yeah.
of a sudden you're playing our arch enemy where it's 3-on-1, and it's like no one wants to play like that. It's just it's not fun. So I don't know. It's definitely like I've definitely heard and seen more stories of just going like, yeah, this asshole brought like this like power level 9 deck against like our like sixes or something like that, and he wiped the floor with us. And when we were just saying, hey, could you not play the deck, he like lashed out and said, why can't I play my deck? I mean, you guys are all playing your. I've heard those stories. Trust me. I know sometimes it can be miserable, but I still sit here going just like, just really depends. Like you just got to have those people that like know and understand like what it is they're playing. Like if you want to play competitive, find the other people that are at the local store that want to play competitive or have competitive decks. If you want to play more casual, then play with that. And everyone's just like, and I also feel like sometimes it's like, I mean, this isn't necessarily the case, but I feel like for a good chunk of people that go to like to go to Magic events, sometimes I feel like they're just too nice for their own good. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's like they were just like, well, I mean, we have 3, but there's like this 4th guy, but his decks are like way too powerful. But I don't want to leave him out or whatever. Like I've seen that before, and I'm just like, if he's playing on a power level and you know that it's going to turn into arch enemy, just play with the 3 of you.
Yeah.
It's like just what
if he's not willing to adjust to your play group, then don't play with him.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
It's like most, if not all, local game stores, especially if you're playing on a lower power level, will have like pre-cons that you could play with, and that as long as you could give them back at the end of the day, they really won't care. or they will sell the pre-cons. It's like if you want, it's like there's always ideas that you can do there. So my general thing, it's like, but that's partially why I've never really gone to Mox. It's like if I didn't have you guys to play with, I probably wouldn't play Magic as much.
I've been going to my local game store a lot more lately, actually more than TCG Player, because it's just easier to pick up the cards.
Yeah, I don't got.
But it's actually not Mox though. It's Misty Mountain.
Nice.
They seem to be pretty nice over there.
Very nice. Yeah. I definitely feel that though, the struggles of wanting to play but not really having that friend group or friends that are interested in it, and having to go subject yourself to the local game store. Feels that. Oftentimes I don't do pre-releases. Like I always, especially if it's a set I really like and there's like a lot of cards in the set that I want, it's like I would love to be able to get to the cards early. I've just had some bad experiences when it comes to those pre-releases. Like there's like times where I remember there was like one time where I think I had gotten like a really good like 3, no, it's not even 3 packs, like 10 packs or something like that you get.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I was like wiping the floor with everyone, and they were just like, and then people got really upset. It's like, bro, I just got lucky. I never get lucky. Let me have this one. I don't know. They made a big fuss about it, and I was basically like forced to forfeit from the rest of the games. Like I still had like 2 more games to play, and the local game store told me, is like, hey, you're not. I was like, it's just like, there was a lot of people complaining about you, and they think you cheated or whatever, so we need you just to go. And I'm like,
what a bunch of sore fucking losers.
And I was like, I just got, yeah, that's what I said too. Is like, I literally just got lucky, and about opening my packs. I'm like, I physically don't have any other packs. Like the only cards that are with this set, like they're all this set. You can check them.
Yeah.
And it's literally a pre-release. So they haven't sold any of the cards prior to this. They're all for the set. Check them. And I guarantee you they're all from this set. No, I was like, well, you might have traded with somebody else. I'm like, all right, fuck you. And I just left. I think they gave me back my entrance money, but I left. And I was like, I would much rather have just stayed and played.
Yeah. That's just shitty.
Yeah, I never went. I don't even remember what that star was called, nor do I want to, shame them. But like,
yeah, at the same time, it's like for pre-releases, it's not like there's not like this big award pool that you're you're competing for.
That was the number one thing. I was like, what are we
Mm,
playing for here? We're just here playing with the new cards and having fun. I really don't give a shit if I'm winning or losing. I was like, I've gone to pre-releases where I've lost every game, but I had a lot
mm,
of fun playing against it. There was one time I remember I was playing against a guy who got like this truly cool deck, and I was just like,
mm,
"Yo, that's dope!" And I was like, and I was like, and it was like we were like nearing our time, so it was like, all right, last turn. Anyone that doesn't finish their turn, it's a tie, and you write down like your scores or whatever. I didn't want him to have a tie on his, so I
mm.
conceded, so he would have a win, so he would get the win, because
That's awesome.
I was just like, I love your deck and everything about it, and you're playing it perfectly, so I'm just gonna
Mm,
concede so you can have this, and because I think it's fantastic.
nice.
I don't know, it's just like I sometimes feel like, especially with like card games, it's like, man, people take it too seriously. Not saying I didn't at some point in my life, but
I mean, I feel like we all at some point take things a little bit too seriously like that. But at the same time, you eventually get to the point where it's just like, man, I just want to have fun.
yeah.
I'm just here to have a good time. I don't care about winning. I just want to play something that I like and have fun with it.
Yeah, that's all that matters in the end. I definitely had my fair share of moments where I was like, I remember like when I was playing Hearthstone, I was like, I got
Mhm.
really pissed off at like early day Hearthstone. And I was like, there was just times where I'd lose, and I'd feel like it's
Mhm.
oftentimes where it's like it's why I was like, I don't get mad at video games or like card games really anymore, but there are
Mhm.
just times where in a game, if I'm playing or something like that, that if I feel like if I got I don't know, if like RNG just completely goes against me, or like something is completely unfair, then I'm gonna go, okay, really now? Come on. I've definitely caught myself doing that more than once. Like I've been playing a
Yeah.
little bit more of XCOM 2, and there
Mhm.
was one moment when I had my like highest ranked guy, he's just sniper, so like up top behind full cover and everything like that. And all of a sudden this fucking one dude just comes walking in and just shoots my guy, like shoots the guy behind full cover and everything like that. There's probably like a 1% chance, if not a little less than that, of actually
Mhm.
hitting the person. He hits her and kills her instantly. And I said, "Are you fucking serious right now? Like, what the fuck, man?"
Jeez.
It's the only time I ever save scum in that game, is when I
Mhm.
feel like it's utterly absurd that they hit that, and I'm just like, really? Just really, I don't save scum in games very often, but that's one of those
Mhm.
moments where I go, fuck you. I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah.
You ever have one of those moments where you just like, fuck you?
All the fucking time. Like you wouldn't even believe.
That was just one of my more recent memories at the moment. Still not
There
over
was
that.
there was one time, and I'll admit, I was like, okay, fuck you, this sucks. I also thought it was really funny, and I was having a good time. It was a game of Dead by Daylight where I was playing the doctor, right?
Hmm.
I didn't get a hook the entire game. Not
Uh,
kills, hooks. I would down a survivor once, and then they would immediately stun me upon me ever picking them up. And it got to the point where at first I was just like, bro, you've got to be kidding. I just want one hook. I just want one.
just one.
And, and then partway through the game, it got almost comical. Every time I picked someone up, they would flashbang me or some shit. I would just be, oh, son of a bitch. You've got to be kidding me.
Nice.
I don't know. I feel like there have been times where in our play group where I'll get kind of salty and like super down on myself, and I feel really bad about doing that. But those are, I'd say, like the worst moments of I don't want to fucking do this anymore.
There's the reason why it's called the phrase. I just got XCOM'd, bro. It's never gonna get over that. I never will.
It will
I
be.
remember that happened the first time I played. I played through that game. It was like,
Mhm.
I think it was the very last mission, Yeah, it was. And I was like, because like, you're under the condition that you can't die. Like, there's a specific soldier that can't die. Otherwise, you have to start over again. And I was doing Iron Man mode. And Iron Man mode, you can't save scum. Because I was that hardcore. And so I just remember it was like, last one, I was like, all right, just got to get this guy out of here and we're done. And then he just gets shot in the head and he dies. And I'm like, and mission failed. Start over again. And I go, are you fucking serious? That took like a half hour. All right, here we go again because it's the last mission. Usually when that kind of stuff happens, I just don't even bother.
Yeah. But it was the last mission, so it's like,
I was like,
okay, one more time.
I gotta go at least. I gotta try it one more time. And if I don't get it, well, then it's just not gonna happen. Oh shit! Wizard of the Gun came out today.
But oh yeah, Wizard with a Gun.
Yeah, Slay the Spire announced their new like the makers of Slay the Spire Mega Crit announced their new game today.
Nice. What is it?
It's Dancing Duelists. Apparently, it's supposed to it looks like it's like a like it's like Slay the Spire S, but like meets Crypt the Necrodancer almost a little bit.
That sounds awesome.
Oh shit! You can play the demo in itch.io. Well,
you know what you're doing tonight.
I know what I'm doing tonight. Was Ghost just asking like for like good roguelikes the other night because I wasn't paying attention?
Card builder games.
Ah, I see. Because I was like, he was asking about like Darkest Dungeon or somebody said something about Darkest Dungeon, and I was just like, well, it's not really. I was like, it's not really a card. It's not really like a deck builder, but it's definitely like top 5, if not top 3, like favorite games of all time. I don't know. Have you ever thought about what like your top 5 most favorite games of all time is?
Oh man, that would be a hard one.
It's something I'd have to think about for a while. I feel like.
Yeah. I know Alan Wake would be in there, but that's just I don't know where it would be. I just know it would be somewhere in there.
Yeah.
I feel bad if that game wasn't in my top 5.
I just don't even know what my top. I was like, I played so many good games. It's like whether it's you know, like recent games or maybe even one I played from like 10, 15 years ago. It's like they're all pretty good.
I feel like I would finish that list after God knows how long, and then just go look back and be like, oh, what about this game?
What about this?
Did I have a better time with this game, or just like? I feel like it'd be a giant like headache mindfuck.
Yep, I feel that. I just wouldn't even know where to begin. Is the number one? Is like my number one thing. Is like, where would I even start? Yeah. It's like, what would I say? Like, I feel like, do you work backwards or do you work from like you say like, oh, this is my like number one game of all time, and then work backwards, or would you just go like, all right, here's like my top 10 or what I would consider my top 10, and it's like, let's narrow it down to 5, and then like place them in order. I'd assume that would be like.
I mean, something like that. Well, I think the easiest way to do it would be to like make a tier list of sorts, and then just list the games out that way, and be like, okay, so these are like my top 10. Which of these are like my top 5? I think even then it'd be
so difficult.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to think right now. It's like would I put like Hollow Knight on my top 10? Honestly, I have no idea. Overall enjoyment, probably. But then it's like, do you look at it objectively? Do you just look at how you played it, how much fun you had playing it, type deal? Do I put Crisis Core near the top, or is it like, I don't know. Maybe that'll be homework for us. Come up with our top 5 most favorite games of all time.
We could do that and then just like share what they are next week.
I like it. Let's do it.
Okay.
God damn, that is some fucking hard ass homework right there.
Mm-hmm.
Al, did I ever tell you about the deck the deck that I recently made for Magic?
No, which one is it?
So you know how Unfinity had like there was some cards in there that actually can be used in like commander formats and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it the giant eyeball guy?
No, I thought
Okay.
about that one though. Do you know the card Captain Rex Nebula?
No, you're gonna have to send that one to me.
Hold on, let me pull it up here.
So something I did want to mention to you guys, I think I may have already. When I do get those My Little Pony cards in, I do want to build a Magic deck that's comprised of nothing but Unfinity cards.
Nice.
I think it would be bullshit, but it'll be super funny,
Oh yeah.
and I'm still for that.
I mean that's kind of what this
Nebula.
Rex Nebula card is like.
Mhm.
That's basically like at the beginning of
I
your
love it.
combat. It's like target permanent you control becomes a vehicle artifact until end of turn. Its base power and toughness are equal to its mana cost, and it has Crew 2 and Crash Land. And I'm just like, that sounds so much fun. It's like make
That
stuff
does
make
sound
stuff
really
in
funny.
just make stuff into vehicles. Have Captain Rex, you know, crew it, and then
Mhm.
and just crash land stuff. I made the deck list, and then I was like, oh shit, it's near $280. Why is it so expensive? Oh wait, because I put a lot of like really expensive artifacts in there. That's
Yeah.
why. That tends to be why.
I mean, for one of the commander decks that I eventually want to build, just the commander is up to almost $100 now.
Yeah.
Dude, I really want to build a deck around vampires, but I'm just fucking myself if I don't use Edgar Markov. It's like his ability is too good.
Yeah, pretty much. Or well, there's like another like good vampire person or whatever.
Could you maybe send it to me?
Uh
Because it's like he has an eminence ability. It's like whenever you cast any vampire, you just get a 1/1 without even having to cast him.
yeah, Edward Markov is really good. There's Olivia Crimson Bride, which isn't bad.
That's the other one that I was thinking about.
Yeah, Elena the Dusk Rose is like fine, but you don't get to play red, and
Mhm.
that's like some of like the better
Yeah,
vampires are in red. That's kind of the problem. This card.
Dude, I'm trying to pick between two commanders in Wilds of Eldraine. I want to build both of them. It's just which one do I want to build? It's
What you between?
Ariat of the Charmed Apple, which is kind of like a curse
Oh
focus,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
And then there's Kellen the Fate Blooded.
Is that the fairy one or whatever?
Yeah, it would be an equipment focused deck.
Because I was thinking of making like a like Demir fairy control,
Oh, okay.
but
Wait, is Demir like black blue?
yeah, it's blue black. Yeah,
I was avoiding that purely because Cole told me he was thinking about doing that.
yeah. I don't want to take it from him either, but I was like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, that sounds really fun. But if
Mhm.
Cole's gonna build it, I don't want to take it from him.
Yeah.
So I need to ask him if he's still interested in
Mhm.
building it or not. There's some fucking good fairy cards in here.
That's why that's why I wanted to do it. I think we mentioned it when in our old podcast when this previews started first coming out. I immediately was like, I want to build these fairies.
With like the next one with like the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, might be time to remake dinosaurs.
I was actually thinking about doing pirates if
Pirates
those are
is
going to be
Pirates
if
will be
those are
another
going to be
good
coming
one.
back. Yeah.
Pirates will be another good one. I thought about making a pirate deck for a while, but it was like I think it was kind of scummy because I think it was like Admiral Brass Bracket. I think his name was
Admiral Bracket Wrath. I remember him
Bracket
distinctly.
Brass. Yeah, because it's like at the beginning and end step, gain control of target non-land permanent controlled by other player who has dealt damage by 3 or more pirates this turn. That's not fun.
And we also get some good merfolk in that set. I feel like that's one of those archetypes that everyone kind of wants to build, but is just like eternally bad.
Yeah, that is the case. Everyone always wishes for merfolks to be better than they are, but it's like I've seen
Yeah.
merfolks when they've been at their top, and nobody wants it. Trust me. Because the thing is, like with merfolks, is you're gonna end up making it Simic, and
Oh,
dude, when I started playing, Simic was the most broken piece of shit I had ever seen in my entire life. And it basically got like no support for the next like 5 sets after that, and it has still not recovered from it.
jeez.
It's crazy. There was a time though when Simic was to be feared by a lot. I also feel like because like the professor from Tolarian Community College is like always talking about how merfolks used to be great, and everyone just goes, "Bring merfolks back so we can make Prof happy."
I haven't watched The Professor in such a long time, though.
Yeah,
I think he's fun, though.
Yeah, I was like, I sometimes when I'm bored, I was like, or I'm doing other stuff. It's like I'll put on like his like shuffle up and play ones or whatever. They're fun. They're fun to listen to. Sometimes you get some weird, crazy shit.
So for Magic, aside from like the like Universes Beyond sets, aside from the ones that we already know about, what are some like crossovers that you'd like to see them do?
God, that they
Because we're
haven't
already
already
getting,
done.
because we're already getting Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, that they're doing Final Fantasy. You
No,
mean?
Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Magic the Gathering is getting Magic the Gathering. What am I even saying?
and I think I saw like just a little bit ago on like Twitter as well. It's like I think they just said that. Oh yeah, I get the early sneak peeks for the Fallout set or whatever soon.
What are the chances you think they ever do a Smash Brothers set? It's like they can just convince Nintendo to do
I
that.
feel like that'd just be a Nintendo crossover then.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't miss out. Turn into the first look at the Universe Beyond Fallout tomorrow.
Fuck.
So yeah, so it's like it's not that far, not that far away.
Bro, Magic is getting really funny in a weird way. It's possible to have a deck that has Megatron, Gandalf, the Doctor Who, Ash from the Evil Dead, and fucking Stranger Things characters all in the exact same set, all in the exact same deck. Even
Yep.
it's fucked.
Do you know what the crossover needs to happen though?
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Well, that and then Star Wars.
That's going to happen at some point.
I can't.
You know it will.
There's no way Star Wars won't happen at some point, right?
It has to.
Like Disney would be stupid not to let that happen, right?
We can only hope.
Although Disney just put out the stupid what is it, the Lorcana or whatever, which again everyone's going crazy for.
Can you even buy sets of that yet?
I think so.
When I looked into it, it was all overly expensive bullshit.
I mean, yeah, it's always going to be overly expensive bullshit.
$13 for a copy of Winnie the fucking Pooh. It's a honey wizard.
Yep. I don't know who plays this stuff or who's going to collect it, but the fact is that Disney made this and everyone just went, "Yeah, I'll give you more money, Disney."
Fucking disappointed.
God damn.
Do you want to try playing it?
No, fuck no. I was like, I know, I always say, I was like, I never want to get into another like card game because like I already spend too much money on Magic. Then I was going, but what about Flesh and Blood? What about Pokemon? What about Yu-Gi-Oh again? I still have like all my old Yu-Gi-Oh cards still, but it's like I recently saw that they made like Dungeon Dice cards, like cards for but like are Dungeon Dice Monster themed.
I'll play Dungeon Dice again. I'm
Dude.
not going back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever.
Dude,
I don't.
seriously though, when is Konami ever gonna put out like actual Dungeon Dice monsters?
It's dumb that they haven't yet. Xbox buy them so that they can make Dungeon Dice.
They what was it? They had like a they had like a board game of it or something like that. Not like when it originally first came out, but because nobody bought it or wasn't popular, they just like canceled it. And like so there's very, very few out there.
I really want to buy one of those, honestly. I think that sounds like a lot of fun. Never fucking going back to Yu-Gi-Oh again.
That's
Fuck
fair.
all that. No matter how much Evan wants to.
Oh shit.
What? I mean, I'd be down for at least trying Flesh and Blood, but the thing with Yu-Gi-Oh is that games just end way too quickly, and usually it depends on the opposite player not being able to play the game for most victories.
Is this real?
Is what real?
I can't tell if this is real. But I was like on Amazon there's like this Dungeon Dice monsters thing for like $40 and I can't tell if it's real or not. It doesn't look real.
It doesn't look like they're Yu-Gi-Oh! It looks like just Yu-Gi-Oh! Themed dice.
That's what I was trying to figure out. But I know there's a card game and like a playmat or something like that. That like there's the actual like stuff that was made for it.
Okay.
There's like minis, and then they have like the board with like all the different like layouts for the dice and everything like that. Like I've seen people play it. It's fucking dope.
And I spent all that money on fucking Final Fantasy cards, and you still haven't played that one with me yet.
I mean, yeah, I have a deck we can play. I still got my Lightning deck. I still buy like a few cards here or there. In 2002? Wait, when's the episodes for Dungeon Dice Monster premiere?
I don't know. I'll look for what the VHS.
November 2nd, 2002.
Oh shit.
So it was around that time. I always loved in like I always thought it was really funny in the shows that they basically like, you know, it's like even though Yu-Gi-Oh was like this, I mean, it was basically like the king when it came to like children's board like card game, basically. Like especially when I was younger. I'm sure it was the same thing for when you were younger, but it was like. It's like they could have gone on and made like cards all the time, but they then did like these like weird arcs or like filler arcs, I guess, where they had like these weird mechanics. Like there was the one where it was the capsule monsters. Like it all started with Dungeon Dice Monsters, and then it was like, oh, now it's capsule monsters. Not a clue how the fuck you do that, but and then there was like I'll be honest with you though. The Deckmaster like little arc or whatever that they had like between like I think it was like season 2 and 3 or something like that. It was like just after or no, just before like the wrapping up of I think it was Battle City. They had like the dungeon or like no, the Deckmasters. I thought the Deckmasters was actually a really cool idea. It's like you pick one monster and they had like some special abilities at times or whatever, but then you could play them on your board at any time. But if they were destroyed, you automatically lose the duel. And I was like, well, that sounds fucking cool. So it's like, oh, you can get this really strong monster out for free, but if it's destroyed, you lose the game. I also like how people have just taken it's like, oh, let me just let's come up with the season 1 Yu-Gi-Oh rules where it's like, oh, if you can just make it up as you go and you can convince the other person that that tracks it makes sense type thing, then you can just play it like that.
Touche.
I was like, you know what? I mean, that's how season 1 was. They're not wrong.
How did we get on Yu-Gi-Oh? Were we just talking about Magic and that's it?
Kinda. I'm just looking at like the Dungeon Dice Monster stuff, and I think to myself, I'm like, is this basically like how people started with like Dungeons and Dragons? Like, yeah, they have like the like each like the monsters has their own like little minis,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the squares are like they just basically say, hey, we see D&D, we see what they can do and like how they do like their combats. It's like, let's make a dice game out of it now. I guarantee you that's probably how Dungeon Dice Monsters came about.
I'm willing to bet it was at least a factor in that.
Oh, absolutely. I just like how cool it looks. Like, I guarantee you, like, I look at all these pictures from the game, and I'm like, there's no way it's as cool as it looks on here. Like, there's just no way.
You're looking at old Dungeons Dice Monster stuff?
Hell yeah, dude. It's like pictures of people playing it and everything, and like just like the cards and the dice and little minis and everything. Ugh, it's great.
I mean, I don't think it's that expensive. Like, how much is it's possible to get a full starter set for only $30?
Yeah, I see them for like 25 or so. Yeah. Well, shit. Real fast, just because it popped in my brain. I was like, Diablo 4 had is starting season 2 of their seasons. Like, I think it was like yesterday or something like that. You look at the patch notes, and it's like reading a fucking novel. They changed so much.
I heard they're good changes, though.
They are good changes. Most of them are good changes, but I need like spark notes on them though. It's like, just, I don't need to know the specifics. Just tell me what y'all changed and how y'all changed it, type thing, and I'm good with that. It reminds me of old League of Legends notes whenever they would like do balance changes. It's just like, I'm sorry, what the fuck did you just do? Because I'm on page 20 and I'm still scrolling, man. That was like when they changed. I remember when they like updated Summoner's Rift, like the main map they have for League of Legends. That they had like this. They were changing like it was mainly just the look of it, but there were some aspects of it that were changing. Like, dragons worked differently. The Baron spawned at a later time, but then there was like this other thing that spawned in there at an earlier time that I think it was like Scuttle Crab, or I don't know, that's what at least everyone called it. And it was like, oh, you can go fight that. It's a little strong, but you can fight it, and you get like a bonus for doing it. And it's like, cool. And I was just like, I just remember those patch notes taking forever to read. I'm like, what the fuck did they do?
Well, they're making you. They're letting you know everything they did.
I know,
the
but
problem is that they're doing everything they did.
But what do they do? Yeah.
Honestly, they could be doing like. So, I know I talk about Dead by Daylight a lot. The way they announce they like show what they're patching in their patch notes, I think works really well. Typically, that is how they lay it out. Like, they separate into things like bug fixes, bots, how they're changing characters, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's how most people do it now, but it's like, man, it was like
a lot.
You looked at the Diablo 4 patch notes and you just go, holy shit. It's like they have it all sectioned off like that, but it's like there's just so much to read.
There was just so much.
There's just so much. Oh shit. Well, along with the showing off of the Fallout cards as well, they're doing they're gonna show off more of the Ixalan cards tomorrow as well, I guess.
Nice.
All right. Look at that.
We apparently did this podcast a day too early then.
I guess so. Well, no. I don't know. You got anything else to talk about? Otherwise, I think we can probably call it there.
Yeah, I'm good just calling it there.
Thank y'all so much for listening or watching to the second episode of It Never Ends. Be sure to follow my co-host over there at Tom Cruise Can't Lose, twitch.tv/Tom Cruise Can't Lose. And so what?
What? No, nothing.
You look like you were gonna say something. You better fucking say it.
Hello.
There you go. And that's all it's me. That was all that said. Anyway, but yeah, thank you so much again for listening and for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, and we got plenty more we want to talk about going forward. So maybe we'll be talking about the Magic's show the cards showing off tomorrow. You know, you do this for like an hour 15, you realize you can't talk through a majority of it.
Yeah.
I went to school to do this.
Oh.
So I always find it's funny. Anyway, we'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.